Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Hear that?
What is it? Is it the fan in the corner?
It's not the fan in the corner.
No, what is it?
It's the calm before the storm.
Oh,
Offer sheets coming to a city near you.
It's more like tumbleweed just rolling by.
yeah.
If I were to make an offer sheet to someone, if I was like, I'm going to target this player.
Josh Levo, here we go.
I got $30 million. I'm gonna
Give it all to Josh Levo.
I'm gonna give it all to Josh Levo. I'm gonna target a player. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna target a guy. Do you think that I would need to meet with said player in order to make that offer?
It's yeah.
Because if I'm an NHL GM, I just go, fuck it. Here's what we're offering you.
See, I don't
And then I'll show you why you should sign. But first, I'm going to show you the number.
So you're just
I'm hooking
approaching
you with
it differently.
the money. Don't bury the lead, baby.
Oh,
Hit me with the
okay.
dollars first. We're willing to give up 4 first-round picks and, to quote Darren Dreger, 13, maybe $14 million.
Who? To quote who?
Oh, Paul Marner. Sorry. Darren Ferris. Sorry.
Yes.
Boy, that was.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
yeah.
But if this is what I don't get about the offer sheet debate, and again, it can happen, sure. But if you are an NHL general manager, how is it possible that you haven't planned this yet? How is it possible that you didn't know exactly what you were gonna do, especially if you've got this much cap space? This is the thing. Like, I understand from the Leafs' perspective why they're not doing anything. They can't really do anything until they figure out what's going on with Mitch Marner, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. But if you're a team like the Islanders, you're a team like the Avalanche, you're a team like the Panthers, you know what you're doing as soon as that window opens. And if you don't, then you should be fired.
There's a few teams right now. It's funny. It's going to be a real fun few weeks. But there's a few teams right now where if they don't get the guys they're going after, what do they do? What do they do with all their space other than overpay mediocre players?
Right.
What do they do?
Yeah.
Because it looks like 3 teams as many that seem to be. What is it? What's the term you use? Because you're an old man, whole hog.
What?
They,
I don't think I've ever used that term. What, whole hog?
you go whole hog into the Panarin Bobrovsky sweepstakes.
Sure.
Wow.
Is there anybody else that's even up this year other than Panarin and Bobrovsky?
No?
There's some.
Are there?
Pavelski?
I know. But like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
no,
Like,
no, no.
literally, like, it's like, is there any? Yeah, so it's Pavelski, Andersley, and then
It's-
Anton Strawman.
Yeah, like there's a definite A class, A plus class
Jake
of
Gardner,
guys.
you probably put in there.
In a B. Put him in a B.
I wouldn't put him in the A.
No,
Like,
he's an A.
He's an A minus,
Whoa.
All right.
Whoa.
All right.
which according to Reddit is the same as a B plus.
Is that an
It
argument on
is
Reddit?
not.
It was a yeah.
Can
anyway.
I give out my crown?
Well, I mean,
Oh.
we did partner with Crown Royal, so yes,
Okay.
you should give out your crown. And when we come back in September with games, we can start awarding our crown of the game, and we'll do it in the preseason to guys that you've never heard of, like Gunnar Fontaine.
Gunnar Wolf Fontaine?
Gunnar Wolf Fontaine. I hope he gets the crown because he's got a great name, Gunnar Wolf Fontaine.
My favorite new protagonist from the Doom series, Gunnar Wolf Fontaine.
Jesse,
Yes.
please go ahead.
I would like to give my crown to Offer Sheets for being the biggest sham since WoW.
See, wow.
Because
You see,
all
wow.
we hear, offer sheet for the last 12 months, for the last 10 months, for the last 10 days, for the last 10 hours, all we hear is about is offer sheets.
10.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Why do people keep doing this evil, offer sheet boogeyman? Because every year, it's offer sheet boogeyman, and then an offer sheet never happens.
True.
Wow. What a sham. Sham, wow.
Biggest sham
You're
since
really,
WoW.
You're wiping the floor with them, Jesse.
So why is this year going to be any different?
Because you
Because
never
Darren
know.
Ferris says so? Are we really believing Darren Ferris?
Yeah.
Well, and that's
We are.
That's what we're going to say,
maybe.
dude.
indeed.
Yeah.
Somebody
That makes no sense to
I
me.
think it was somebody from the Hockey News. They tweeted this, and I meant to pull the tweet, but we were busy at a work function for about 16 hours yesterday. So I saw this come up on my phone, and I wish I'd saved it.
Very cryptic.
But what it said was just got off the phone with an agent, and he said, you know that no offer sheets are coming, right? And this is from an agent to a reporter. And I forget who tweeted. I think it was somebody from the Hockey News. Apologies for not quoting you directly.
Ken Campbell?
No, it was not Ken Campbell. But it is a very funny thing that, I mean, you've got one guy saying it's going to happen, and then you got all the rest of the guys going, like Chris Johnston went on Sportsnet 590 yesterday and said, I will eat my shoe if Marner gets $13 million. And he is welcome to do that on this show.
Does that count as beef? Would a leather shoe count as meat?
I think in an abstract way it has to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yummy.
Exactly.
It's crazy to me how one person has been able to create this narrative that an offer sheet is coming to one guy, and then that's spun out to, an offer sheet's coming to Aho and Line and Levo and everybody. But it's just one guy who's trying to use offer sheets as a boogeyman to get his client more money.
Well, and what was interesting from Elliot Friedman's final 31 Thoughts, which is essential reading, final of the season.
I'm ready.
Was this interesting...
Which, by the way, I don't believe that for 1 second.
What?
His final 31 thoughts.
It's definitely
He's
not.
absolutely going to do one next week after Free Agent Frenzy. Are you kidding me?
No, doesn't he?
All those guys sign. I think you're right.
He always does.
I think you're right.
He always does one on the first. He's going to stop doing 31 thoughts the week before the biggest transactional period of the year.
Doesn't Elliot go away on July 2nd?
Probably. Well, and then the website is left to schmucks like me, like, I got to make 14 videos now.
The website
which I
and
may
the
very
radio
well do.
station.
Yes,
Sorry.
and the radio station. You're right. I'm sort of the only guy here.
Anyway, hey, next time you're enjoying a Free Agent Frenzy period. Well, we didn't give our crowns.
No, you guys got to do yours, yeah.
My crown goes to Elliot when he writes 31 Thoughts again next week, because I know he will. Sorry, Elliot. Love you, man. You know that this is happening.
My crown goes to Chris Johnston. May he stay hungry.
And remember, the next time you're hanging out, thinking about what free agents the Leafs will not sign this year, make sure that you pull out a Crown Royal and think to yourself, hey, don't worry, this Mitch Marner thing will work itself out.
I love you, Adam.
Crown Royal.
Just the way you say things. I'm like, why don't I have a Crown Royal?
Yeah, why don't you?
Why don't I?
Why don't you? Now,
and then I can't come up with a good reason. And the second I get home, I'm going to be like, Adam told me.
So now the narrative is changing, ladies and gentlemen. With Mitch Marner.
Narrative. What a great word.
So remember,
Garner Wolf narrative.
Now,
my favorite Leafs prospect. The way he flies down the wing and changes it up on you, changing the narrative. What?
They are changing the narrative. The spin has changed. Because if you've noticed, there have been no reported offer sheets. Now,
what a
to
joke.
be fair, I believe the offer sheets have to come July 1st.
Yes. And
But
also,
here's the thing about that. It would have leaked already.
I would think.
And you know why it would have leaked already? Because Darren Dreger would have had the story.
Well,
listen, when the story comes, when Mitch Marner resigns, Darren Dreger will break it.
He will break it.
And you know what? Maybe all of this, all of the feeding of Marner's camp into the public will have been worth it at that point. I mean, really, if you look at it, that's his whole job is to get that scoop.
What?
And if
what
he's going to
happens
get
if
it,
he doesn't?
dude, if he doesn't, then I'm like,
like, what happens if like Mackenzie scoops him?
Well, no, I was
McKenzie
about to say I think Mackenzie will break it. Because
why?
I think after all this time, he's going to be like, okay, you do it. I don't know why that's my gut.
Darren Dreger will not. You think Darren Dreger will give it over to Bob?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they never talk to each other. Colleagues never talk to each other, share information.
You think that after all of this,
I don't know.
Because every tweet Darren Dreger now puts out,
believe Adam.
Now every tweet Darren Dreger puts out, the guy is like overloaded with something that I think someone from Leafs Twitter, Laura from Leafs Twitter, right? Didn't she start the thank you, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know who started it.
I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah.
Trolling a guy's mentions like that.
All the responses to everything he tweets is, okay, Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think it's mostly Darren. I don't think it's Paul Marner.
Okay.
I would have said, okay, Darren, because I think it's coming from Darren
Do
Ferris.
you think the things he's putting out there are untruthful? You know what I mean? Do you think the things he's tweeting are lies he concocted? My answer is no.
No, I don't think he's lying.
No.
No, he's
I think that's
just
exactly
tweeting
what
information. It's
one
just,
side is saying.
Yes, it's just a little bit transparent as to what the information is.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, I don't think we need to like tap dance around this. Obviously, he's got a connection to the agent. There's a history there, and from this perspective, he's probably trying to build up capital and get one of the biggest scoops of this year, which is a Toronto player. Sorry, guys, Toronto's a big market for hockey.
It's the scoop.
It's the scoop this year.
The scoop.
And if he gets it, then he wins.
It's this year's Tavares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this year's Tavares, and the year before, 2016, it was supposed to be Stamkos, and then everyone lost their mind and did the Hall trade and Subban trade within half an hour of that. This one's Marner re-signing. It has the biggest implications throughout the league. But, sorry, what I was getting to earlier was during 31 Thoughts, Fried said something that I don't necessarily believe about all the restricted free agents are waiting for the first person to sign because they don't want to be the first person to sign because then they set the market and then they're going to piss people off one way or the other. Oh, you didn't sign for enough. You signed for too much.
I believe that.
Etc.
I absolutely believe that. When numbers are so public like this, yeah. Because you got to see these guys at PA meetings and stuff, and you're going to see them when you're hanging out with them during the strike.
Well,
in a year and a half.
Yes.
Lockout.
Lockout.
Lockout. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Adam.
I mean, you're going to get you're going to get nice and close as you're both losing year 2 of your contract.
I don't believe that. I think the second they see their number, they'll sign. And if Sebastian Aho, you see how I said that? Sebastian Aho, if he signs the rumored number from last night, which was 9.5, are we all happy with that?
I don't hate it.
Well,
Should I hate it, Steve?
Here, it's irrelevant because didn't you know that Marner doesn't give a shit about the comparables? Remember that?
Because Marner exists in a vacuum amongst no other NHL players because he's special Mitch Marner.
You know what's an interesting one to me is Mikko Rantanen, where those contract negotiations got to be interesting because they have $30 million or something in cap space because they're obviously trying to load up with other guys. But how is that negotiation going? I want $10.5 million. We can't afford to pay you $10.5 million. Yeah, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. You keep trading away people, including my friends. Yes, you can.
It's probably more, you're not worth $10.5 million.
Well, and that's a much harder conversation.
Yes.
I don't know. Marner is, we've already said this a bunch of times, he's not as interesting in RFA to me as Patrick Laine. As Braden Point. I'm so sick of everyone talking about Braden Point like it's going to be simple, because it's going to be, and I hate it. There's absolutely no reason why Braden Point's contract negotiation should be simple.
Right.
So does
they don't pay people.
Does that not make this whole thing around Marner more frustrating because of how simple this should be?
Yes!
Because a guy like Lila, like you said, comes off the weirdest season ever. But Mitch Marner is just straightforward. He's good. Here's a bunch of money. But for some reason, it's difficult.
Who do we think is going to have the better career, Marner or Laine? There's one.
It's a good question. I think based on and the recency bias is a major thing in analysts. But I mean, if you were to say last year, everybody would say Laine. You say this year,
one guy
everybody would say Marner.
His worst season so far. Another guy had his best season so far. But looking at the previous 2 seasons, you're going to take that bet? Is everyone going to take
a hard
that?
bet.
You're talking about a guy. Laine should be snoring his way to 40 goals every year. Snoring. He's going to hit 50 goals more than once.
Yeah, he
scored 17 goals in a month.
Yeah,
even if he doesn't score the rest of the months, which he almost didn't. Yeah. That's still fucking amazing.
Yeah, do you
that's
he scored
incredible.
8 goals in 3 games.
Do you take that bet that he will never have last season again?
Yes. I take that bet because he had 2 seasons of not last season.
It's yes. He had 2 seasons of not last season, and he's had a couple injuries, and he's bounced back from them. Scored a big old bunch of goals.
And to that point, Steve, what's more important in the NHL, goals or assists?
Goals. I don't know. I'm sick of talking down Marner. Like,
dude, we're not. It's
but like,
if we're talking comparables,
it's just facts.
Yeah, like listen. Everybody's a fan of Mitch Marner, the player. Mitch Marner, the personality.
Yes.
Mitch Marner, the contribution of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The fact that he is living
community.
our dream.
Yes.
He gets to live, like, the great thing about Mitch is that you're almost living vicariously through him because he is like, he's the thing that you hoped that you could be when you were playing road hockey on your parents' driveway. Right?
Crushing Red Bulls, skating around real fast, doing loops on the ice. Yeah.
Drafted in the first round
from
by your
Toronto.
hometown team.
High C. Crushing high C.
Yeah.
And going ballistic.
High C. Yeah, man, you crush a high C, it brings you back to life, I'll tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
You're tired and hot? High C will pick you up back
High
again.
C. Woo! Going nuts. Who won the soccer game? Was
team
it
with the
Timmy
high
with
C.
his orange slices? Or Johnny over there with his high C? It's always the team with the high C.
It's literally like the wind-up toy drink, right?
Oh.
You just go and then crash. But it was good while you're up.
It's the I hate my babysitter drink. You ply Timmy full of high C and drive the babysitter nuts all night while you go out and have a peaceful night at the movies and watch LA Confidential. And if that movie's full, you go see Titanic.
Wow.
They were out at the same time.
There you go.
Yes.
Steve, everybody.
In 1997, when Roberto Luongo was drafted.
I think it's just one of those things. It's unfortunate that it's come to this, but I certainly don't. One thing I will say about the whole situation and the way that it is publicly, not one bad thing, not one negative thing, not one non-neutral thing, except for the cold-blooded facts, has come out of Kyle Dubas' mouth. Mm-hmm. But on the other side, we have this twister of it's literally just a twister of information of $13 million. Like, imagine a twister, like a cartoon,
There's
like
too much to keep
Tasmanian
up
Devil.
with. Yeah.
And $13 million, $14 million. Disrespected rookie bonuses.
they
Ice
still
time
can't-
in his first NHL season that he's still hanging. Where that is,
Which is wrong. Yeah, sorry.
But
What's
that's
that?
the thing, is it sucks you into that vortex. And the Leafs are on the other side going, here's the number we can give you.
Yeah.
And I
hope they just conduct business.
I normally would start. I would normally side with the player on these things, but I'm not critical of necessarily Mitch Marner, but at a certain point you got to haul your agent in and go, dude, this isn't working.
So,
Well, that's what-
Do we give him any credit that he hasn't said anything himself?
No.
Oh, I don't think so. That's
No.
the easy way. Players often
Yeah.
don't. I mean, the NBA they do, which is hilarious. They do it in the Instagram
Do they
comments.
have agents?
Yeah,
And if so,
Right.
why?
Yeah,
Andre
exactly.
Iguodala right now is on a media tour because he wants to be. He was on the Breakfast Club. He's been doing podcasts.
Nobody's
just
signing
'cause-
with the Knicks.
Right. He's just been talking shit publicly.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
amazing.
Did he rip the Golden State training staff on the
Yeah.
Breakfast Club and then defend them the next day?
Because he went to CBS. There's just so many opportunities to talk. And it's like, and then we haven't heard from Mitch Marner.
No, and that, by the way, for Mitch is the right thing.
No, we did hear from him. He took a picture with Max Domi.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what? When your public perception
It's
is
really
dropping in Toronto, you know what you do is you take a picture with Max Domi.
Of the Montreal Canadiens.
Listen, whatever. That's his buddy. I don't care. I really don't care.
You know,
they would have played together on the nights, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're buddies.
It's his responsibility, right, Mitch, to go back to this, to rail in his team.
Yeah.
That this shouldn't be coming out. So do we blame him for the Tasmanian storm that's going on?
I think it's a playbook, but I just think you don't get sucked in anymore. Like, if the offer sheet was coming, if he was this guy that you needed to have, like if Connor McDavid was an RFA right now, do you not think that an offer would have been made?
An offer sheet?
Yeah. Like, you would have been like, Connor, whatever the fuck you want.
He's
Write the
different.
number down.
He's the best player in the league.
Yes.
And there's no question.
But that's the point.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Mitch Marner was this can't miss thing, which he is, but not in that same stratosphere where essentially you're trading 4 first-round picks for a guy plus $10+ million of cap space, the deal would have been, we would have heard about it. We would know. Do you think Darren Ferris is going to keep that quiet?
Yeah, okay, so I don't know about that anymore. Because I feel like we've been, and I noticed this at the draft, I feel like a lot of names have come up And the monkey wrench that got thrown in, and this was the moment I realized the summer wasn't going to go the way that I thought it was going to. The monkey wrench was, we don't know what the cap is.
Yeah.
And I think most teams went into the summer thinking it was going to be 83. They got wind that it was going to be a little bit less than that. And then they got wind that it was going to be $1.5 million less than that. Last night, before the Holla trade went through, I think I saw Vegas had an $89 million cap hit.
Wow.
And it's, what's the cap? 81.5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that
How
was
much was Holla making?
2.75.
So
So
that
they
doesn't
still
even-
got a
Yeah,
ways
it's
to
not
go.
a lot.
It's a dent. It's a dent.
Man, if Ottawa is not getting that David Clarkson deal, how can you not?
Well, yeah,
the deal is insured. The David Clarkson contract is insured. They don't have to pay for it. Beyond, I think, was it 20%?
I
So
don't know.
80% of that stuff, I think, is insured.
I don't know.
So Ottawa basically gets to take that contract at 20% of its value for 1 year.
And Ottawa's still $11 million from the floor.
Oh,
And don't even
and there's
get
no
me
one to give the
started.
money to, is the funny
Don't
thing.
even
You
get
look at the
me
roster,
started
there's no
with-
one to give the money to.
Don't get me started with the crap I hear every time I say we got to get rid of the hard cap. People are like, well, what about cap floor teams? Which, by the way, total fucking illusion. None of the cap floor teams you're even paying up to the cap floor.
No.
You need to give them more money so they can spend it.
Also,
That's what I'm
Ottawa's-
asking the rich teams to do.
Also, Ottawa's bad on purpose.
Yes.
Ottawa's
they
not
are.
paying anyone by design.
Yes.
Also, salaries in the NHL should just be larger.
Yes.
Like it's ridiculous that the best player in the game makes $14 million.
Did you
Like
see?
he should be
or
making
they should be more tilted towards the more talented because it is a 50-50 split, right? So revenues are what they are. That is what it is. But I think like the stars matter more than people think, I think. You know what I mean? We still there's this old school mentality, well, the third line guy. Third line guy. The broadcasters will talk about the third line guy for 20 fucking minutes. But Connor McDavid's like, well, yeah, he did another great thing. Moving on.
I looked at the Raptors, their salary breakdown. I know, different sport, it's completely different, but I was just like, Fred VanVleet makes what?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Marc
in-
Gasol just opted into his $28 million contract.
Yeah.
Like, and he's the, seventh best guy on the team?
Yeah, and Siakam is like, I want to say he makes like $1.5 million.
Well,
Or so I know it's
Yeah.
different. I know it's completely different, but just seeing the gap,
Right.
you would think they don't play in the same league. You would think like, oh yeah, here's D-League guy,
there just needs to
and
be
here's Michael Jordan.
There needs to be a better way of distributing salaries in the NHL than what it is right now.
I mean, there's a lot of issues with the NHL. That's probably why they're going to have another lockout, and it's going to be great. But sorry, the monkey wrench I was getting to. The teams, I think, were preparing for an $83 million cap. They got a cap that's $1.5 million less than that. And don't you think we would have heard it by now? You keep asking. I don't think any insider really has the inside track on a whole lot other than what teams are looking for, because all the names that have moved so far, I haven't heard brought up. Did anyone hear that Calvin DeHaan was going to get moved?
No.
Did anyone hear that Eric Holla was going to
think
get moved?
Calvin DeHaan or Eric Holla were long time guys mentioned out there. I think
Carl
they were
Soderberg.
that day. Like the Calvin DeHaan trade seems like a that day phone call. Oh, I never thought about that. Okay.
Did you hear?
You know what I mean?
You hear the way the Subban trade was described in 31 Thoughts?
A little bit. I can't really fully remember.
So it was basically like it sounds an awful lot like Poyle was on the phone with another team for a big chunk of the day, and it sounds to me that other team was the Leafs. And they were working on it, and he got fed up, and he called New Jersey, and he goes, here's the deal. It's the full $9 million. Do you want it? And New Jersey went, yes, absolutely. And that's how Subban became a Devil. Did any of us... It was weird. It was like the day before the draft, we heard like, it sounds like Subban's getting traded. We all said, what? I don't think New Jersey was ever even brought up. And now he's a Devil.
Yeah.
So the whole don't you think we would have heard it?
I mean,
That's what makes this summer...
Have you heard the new rumors?
But with
What are the new
Marner,
rumors
but
now?
with Marner, that's a different ball game than the Subban trade.
You think so?
This is the one guy that everybody's hyper focusing on this offseason because of the drama surrounding it. We would have heard about that. Maybe not the Subban trade. Maybe not the Calvin DeHaan trade. Love Calvin, but he's a B player. No way are we not hearing Darren Ferris, Mr. Publicity Spin, is not going to let if I am Team X and I offer him, do you think that Darren Ferris is going to keep that quiet?
What if Team X is the Islanders? And it's Lou Lamoriello.
So Lou Lamoriello, who quite frankly, to quote your tweet, screwed Mitch Marner out of his own bonuses.
Yeah, he was responsible for a bunch of the things that Mitch Marner is allegedly mad about that he's not actually mad about. That he's.
We'll get to you in a sec, Jesse. I know.
He didn't make the team as a rookie. He didn't make his rookie bonuses. Not enough ice time. You hate me because I'm short or something.
Which Lou probably did.
Yeah,
based on what we heard, Lou was like, I don't know if he's big enough. Didn't he say that?
I don't know.
Pretty sure he said it in an interview. But
he did.
So he's going to go
publicly
and sign with that guy? And the Islanders are really going to go, okay, here's the trade. John Tavares for Mitch Marner and 4 firsts.
Yeah. No, John Tavares and 4 firsts.
That's what I mean. Sorry.
For Mitch Marner.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know.
Think so.
Like, to me, the Islanders should consider it as a desperation move if they think they're going to lose, everybody. Anders Lee in particular, and also Robin Leonard, and they were to miss out on Bobrovsky because all of a sudden they're a player in Bobrovsky now. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what to expect this summer, and I feel like there's a lot of foregone conclusions going into every summer, and I just feel like this one doesn't have those.
The NHL seems to be like foregone conclusionville.
Can I tell you what's going to happen? Every one of those $7 million and up RFAs re-signs with the team they're with.
Well, yeah.
Because
I believe Jesse's been saying that. But what is the new rule, Jesse?
The new rumors.
What are they?
Have you heard the new rumors?
What are the new rumors?
Well, after the Willie negotiations, after Subban falls through, after Mitch take this long, have you heard the rumors that Kyle Dubas is a bad negotiator?
Who's this from?
Who said this?
It's just Twitter people.
Oh, boy.
But Leafs Twitter is trying to talk about how Kyle Dubas isn't good at negotiating.
So we're going to forget that Tavares is a Leaf, right?
Yeah.
And we're also less than a year after it happened, and we're also going to forget that William Nylander has exactly the same money, basically, as Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
We're going to forget that,
But it took till December, Adam.
So fucking what, man? It
what
took
if,
as long as it took.
What if he was signed in September if Lou was there?
By the way, a bunch of people said last episode when I said, and going to your bad negotiating thing, that it was going to go to December 1st because of chaos. Yeah. And the Leafs can't actually do that because of it. If you prorate a deal, the Leafs don't have the cap for it.
Stop saying can't when it comes to the NHL.
Just say it's not likely.
Stop paying attention to rules. Like, since when does anything about this league follow rules? And what can and can't happen.
Rules are loose guidelines. But basically, the idea is that if they wanted to prorate his deal the way Nylander did, everybody was like, oh, Nylander's making $10 million. Well, no, he didn't. He made 6.9 something, whatever his actual money was. But
how mad are people going to be when they discover Nylander's not making 10?
And if you don't know what prorated means, you should. If you're following sports, Google it. I'm not going to get into explaining it.
Or if you're a person.
The point here,
you should know what the word means. I'm sorry.
Is that the guy? There's nothing wrong with a negotiation that goes long. Like, by that same logic, is William Nylander's agent not also a terrible negotiator?
Maybe he's a fantastic one.
How could he be fantastic if it went to December 1st?
I don't freaking know. Listen,
that also means that Darren Ferris is a bad negotiator.
I
don't
think this means Kyle Dubas is a bad negotiator. I think that is ridiculous.
It means he can't get things done.
Well, so let me be devil's advocate for a moment. So when the Eric Holla to Carolina trade broke, I had a odd thought, and maybe it's just because it was late at night and I was having my night cheese. You ever have cheese before bed to give yourself dreams on purpose?
No.
I do. The Carolina Hurricanes have been active, and the Carolina Hurricanes, I feel like, make moves. They make the type of moves that I thought when Dubas became GM he was going to make. Does that make sense?
Don Waddell.
Yeah.
Graph boy.
This old guy
Computer boy
is going out there and he's going, here's a 22-year-old former fourth rounder for a center who can do a lot of things and isn't paid that much. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the Leafs should have gone out and got Eric Holla. I don't think there's a need for that. But I'm watching all these teams make all these moves. Mm-hmm. Carolina is one of the most active among them. The Niederreiter trade was one of the fleecings of last season. And I'm just like, I hope the Marner negotiations are not preventing the Leafs from doing stuff.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you next, because apparently that's the phone call. According, I believe it was Pierre LeBrun said, when people call the Leafs, I believe it was Pierre. Forgive me if I'm misattributing this. Every team is saying the Leafs are saying we can't really do anything until we figure out Marner.
Just wrong. That's such a terrible way of thinking. And if any member of the Leafs organization hears this, you're nuts. Whether you have Mitch Marner or not, you have one of the worst right sides on defense in the sport. Go out and make some fucking phone calls and fix that. Colin Miller or whoever else you got to get. Whether or not you have Mitch Marner, you're going to need people to play on your right side. Whether or not you have Mitch Marner, you're going to have to fix that shite defense. Get on the phone and fix that. What do you do all day? That conversation that we have all the time about general managers. Surely you're not on the phone with Darren Ferris 12, 13, 14 hours a day. Get out there and call some other guys, get a defenseman, and hopefully he shoots right. Go out there and make other moves. It is June 27th. If you don't move your ass, they're going to be gone. And then all of a sudden, Nikita Zaitsev's going to look pretty good, and he's going to stick around again. And don't use that as a negotiation tactic, by the way, anymore. Oh, we could just keep him. We could just keep him. Listen, I know it worked for Marleau, and I think you got very lucky in that regard. And also, you gave up a first-round pick to do it. You come back with this defense, again, they're boned. And there's no point. You certainly can't argue to Mitch Marner, hey, come back because we got a contender with this core on D. You just can't.
No, you're right.
Do not let this stupid circus sideshow hold you up. Because that, by the way, is what they're hoping for. This is part of their strategy to put pressure on you. And if I don't sign this contract, if I don't cave into his demands, I can't go out and get the defender I want.
Go get him.
The Maple Leafs do not begin and end with Mitch Marner. Go out there and make some friggin' moves because it's drying up.
From July 2nd of 2018 onwards, are you disappointed in Kyle Dubas?
July 2nd, 2018.
So after
Tavares.
After Tavares.
No, see, you'd have to go to like July 5th because there was also Tyler Ennis, and I really like the Tyler Ennis deal.
You can include Tyler Ennis if you want.
Oh, okay. So,
Are you disappointed in the moves Kyle Dubas has made? Going back to your point that you think Carolina has been making these little moves that are really smart.
Well, let's go through the list. Connor
pull
Carrick.
up NHL GM tracker.
Yeah. Connor Carrick for shit. I want to say he was a 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Hall makes the team. Martin Marincin makes the team. Calvin Pickard for nothing. Curtis McElhaney for nothing. Garrett Sparks is the backup. There was no space for Levo, so they went out and got Carconi from the Canucks. Carconi at least seems to be a good bet, so that's good. I guess their hand was sort of forced. They went out and they got Jake Muzzin, which I think is wonderful. Wasn't cheap. Was not cheap. And what else? What else have they done? Trying to think of what else they've done.
I can't think of anything else. Nothing worth noting.
They didn't get a fourth-line center.
Re-signed Garrett Sparks.
Oh, Nick Patan for Per Lindholm. Yeah, the
Mikhailov,
bunch of
Mikhailov,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look great. And here's the thing. When these next 7 days for Kyle Dubas, not only do they set up next year, but they're really going to set up how people really start to believe what he is. You can only coast on the Tavares stuff for so long, and I look at it and I go, okay, I think the principles that we attribute to Kyle Dubas and the ones that he strives for are ones that I go, man, really appreciate that, especially the social stuff. It was great to see him at Pride. It was great. Like, nobody's arguing that.
Yeah.
For sure.
On the hockey part, though.
For sure. Yeah. Standing in the rain, shooting a commercial shoot at midnight on a Friday night for Sick. Yeah.
On the hockey part, though, right now, if what we heard about Marner holding up everything is true, then I'm very concerned.
That's a huge mistake. That's an enormous mistake.
Like I would rather
if that's what's going on.
I would rather let Marner sit for the entire year, get absolutely nothing for him, and have PK Subban on the roster.
I'd rather trade him. Like I'd rather. I seriously, you cannot go. You know what? Leafs without Mitch Marner still have a pretty kick-ass offense.
Yeah,
it's not nearly as good. Let's, no confusion there. It's not nearly as good.
They're not going to set records for goals scored.
Yeah.
But you might have a defenseman.
It's probably still a top half offense.
Yep, and you might probably, definitely
a top. You still
10.
have Matthews, Tavares, and Kadri actually as your 1, 2, 3 up the middle,
and Janssen and Kapanen and Hyman when he's back. And I mean, Hyman's not the most offensively gifted, but
you got a couple guys on Marlies who could fill in on the wing. Anyway, you could always find cheap guys on the wing, which is why I always rip into the Oilers.
You have the $10 million to go get the cheap guy for the wing.
You got a bunch
of expensive guy.
Or you get your defense.
Big old cap
right,
space.
or that.
It's the pressing need. I know I'm always like, listen, go with your strength. Go with what makes you special and make that stronger. Their defense is not good enough. It's not close to good enough. They need to make moves there. Don't let a winger, and I don't care how good that winger is, hold that up.
Well, if like whatever it was that was going to be in the package for PK, like tell me now.
There's got to be another guy.
If Kyle Dubas was talking to you right now and he was being honest, he gave him truth serum.
All right, who's next?
You would have to say to him, you have to think that whatever it was that he was waiting to pull the trigger on, he should have just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It was the salary, apparently.
It was the salary for the Preds. Yeah. But apparently, as Steve kind of alluded to, David Poile was waiting on another team to get back to him. And apparently the team that was supposed to get back to him was the Leafs. And he waited all afternoon and he said, nope, we're not going to wait anymore.
I think, wasn't it the Leafs were going to get back to him about the salary retention? And then he would have done it, right? Whatever the package was plus taking on PK's salary.
I don't know if it was that because there's no way the Leafs could have. The Preds were willing to retain up to $3 million.
Okay.
I got to imagine that was the whole thing. My assumption is the Leafs would have had to give up way more than the Devils did. Oh. But the Devils retained all $9 million, which made it a very cheap deal for them. If the Leafs get the Preds to retain $3 million of that, all of a sudden you're giving up what? Like, is Kadri part of that deal? Is
I would have done that?
So but we'll never know.
Yeah,
will we? Like we kept hearing at the deadline, oh, they're in on God knows it's this big name. It could be Ekblad, it could be Doughty, it could be this dude. You need something. You need someone. If they keep Zaitsev and re-sign Hainsey, I might blow a gasket. Like I might lose my mind.
Well, that seems like the most likely outcome right now.
I still have the benefit of the doubt that both guys are moving on. Hainsey they might bring back in a role that is a little bit more understandable.
If I'm the GM, I go no. Because what Babcock will do is he'll say, yeah, I could use that guy, but I've also got Hainsey.
Well, I've seen some people...
Take his toys away.
I've seen some people go, why are we even talking about bringing back Reimer or Phaneuf? Like, for the love of God, close the book on those chapters.
Yes.
Close the book on the Hainsey chapter! I read it. It was short. It always ends in April.
In Boston.
Yeah, in Boston. In TD Garden.
And
in Game 7.
Don't worry, runs on the ice.
Yeah. I don't know how long. Yeah. Don't worry. Penalty kill runs on the ice. And also, it's okay, though. He looks fast compared to the guy with no friggin' ACL. I don't know how long next year's book is. All I know is the one that we've read for the last 2 years ends in April. I'm tired of it. Who is it? Who's it going to be? Damon Severson's name is apparently off. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, New Jersey likes him again because they got smart.
Because he's on a decent deal and his role's going to be reduced. He's going to be playing under the tutelage of PK Subban.
It's almost like Nikita Zaitsev's role should have never been as big as it was.
It's almost like when you get really good players up top, it takes pressure off the bottom.
That's why
Welcome for your roster stock.
That's why I was thinking Kyle Turris would fit in great with the Leafs because he plays their style and he could play a reduced role.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. They got to go out there and what is it? Like what I kept expecting and what I've said for a while now is okay. Tavares is the big fish for sure. Anytime you have a chance to go out there and get John Tavares, you do it.
Yeah,
always, of course. of course. But what I expected out of, I guess, this regime, or whatever you want to call it.
Regime.
Regime. What I expected out of this regime was that they were going to go out and they were going to get these guys for very cheap, and we were all going to go, who the hell are these guys? And like 4 guys who make charts and know how to code go, actually, I did some research on this guy, and he's actually quite good and undervalued. And then he comes in, and he scores 15, 20 goals next year, and we go, oh, holy shit, he's a genius.
And you're paying him peanuts, and it makes your roster look great.
Yes, yes, because he's smarter than the rest. And I know this segment started with, can you believe people are actually asking this? I don't. I think it's a little bit ridiculous.
It might be a little early, but it's not unwarranted.
I would not go so far to say he's a bad negotiator when it comes to contracts.
No,
but shit or get off the pot. What's the move, man? What's the move? I'm dying to find out, because if July 2nd comes, they haven't made a trade and they haven't signed anyone decent on the back end, I'm going to flip.
The Leafs have already reached out to Anton Strawman, and they say the asking price is too high.
Okay, so he's out. Damon Severson's out.
And
Colin Miller, what's the word? Colin Miller, what's the word? Let's go.
I'm looking
Who's next? Who's next?
Eventually, you keep going down that list, and you get to Nikita Zaitsev. And then
Like,
you're looking at that.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who's expendable? Aaron Ekblad, what's it going to take? Like, get moving, man. Get moving. You have a front office bigger than anybody else's. Who's on the phone? Who wants what? What's going on? You know, like, after a while, there's too many people at the party. Just order a freaking pizza. Stop asking everyone what their favorite toppings are.
Where's the pizza from?
Panago, obviously.
Thank you.
Like, how... you do what you do at every house party. Hey, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? We want a meat lovers and we want a veggie. That's what I would... Just make the call. Make the executive decision. Even if it's not all that popular.
I am just looking something up right now.
Is it a trade?
No, I don't know why. I guess I must be using this wrong. I'm trying to browse cap friendly for who's going to be a UFA, and PK Subban's name keeps coming up, and I've updated my search results, and it keeps coming up, so that's not right. But essentially, after Anton Strawman, you've got like Ben Lovejoy.
Carl Gunnarsson extended with St. Louis?
Yeah, I got that written down. That's why I was
So, yeah,
going to
if
wait
you just
on
go
that.
on the
Oh,
homepage.
sorry, my bad.
That's all right. 2
Did you
years.
just hit browse UFAs on the homepage?
Is it on the homepage?
Yeah, so just go to the homepage, capfriendly.com, and then the middle section, see where it says unrestricted free agents, hit browse UFAs.
See, I was trying to narrow down that search because I was in that area because I was trying to get
auto.
defensemen. But
Yeah,
anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point here is that we've got Dion Phaneuf, Tyler Myers, Andrew McDonald, Mark Mathot, Nicholas Cronwall, who is unbelievably still playing, Anton Strawman, Jake Gardner, Dan Girardi, Michael Delzato, Ron Hainsey, Ben Hutton, Adam McQuaid, Ben Lovejoy, Patrick Nemeth, Nathan Beaulieu, and Alex Petrovic.
You got to make a trade.
I mean, I would sign Alex Petrovic.
It's
I mean,
not
why
a
not?
game changer. Like that's a depth signing.
Still get him.
Fine.
But you need to make a trade. You have to make a trade. And all those guys, I wasn't even naming just the right shot guys. Like and I believe Donskoy is he's right wing, but at least he would be a depth signing.
He's going to be too expensive, I think.
I feel like these next 7 days are going to determine the way we talk about this Leafs team and the way we talk about Kyle Dubas for the next 12 months. I really do. I think Steve, I think you're absolutely right. If he does not move and act decisively here, and you got to make the right choice too.
Now I wonder,
you can't be patient on this one anymore.
In his defense, maybe the patience, and he's just got brass huevos. Maybe the holdup is everyone else. They want to see what's going to happen
with their RFAs,
with their guys, with their free agents. We got the Panarin Bobrovsky thing holding everything up.
Sebastian Aho in Carolina, who was only offered $6 million.
I
and
thought it
had
was 8, but that's still way too little for him.
Yeah, crazy for a centerman.
Yeah.
I thought it was 6 over 8. That was the number that I thought I saw.
Oh, I think it was 8 over 6.
Oh, it was 8 over 6. Okay.
But
man.
both aren't enough. They're not enough for a player that good. Ekblad was reportedly the rumor. Well, that team's friggin' waiting on Bobrovsky and Panarin. So you don't know what's going to happen there. Is Mike Hoffman available? So there's all these potential trading partners that the Leafs have that can't really do business until after they get some answers on July 1st. So maybe that's the holdup. But to me, last night when I saw the Haula trade, I went, finally, Vegas made a move. Because they were the team that had to. They were the team that had to make a move. Mm-hmm. And they basically dumped cap and got nothing in return. So, and I'm not saying the Leafs should have gone out and got that guy, but this is a team in as tight a bind as any in the league. People were talking about Pacioretty getting moved. I don't know, maybe that's the holdup there.
Can you imagine
that? They don't even want Colin Miller. They don't even want him. To me, maybe it's my problem because mentally I made him a Leaf a couple of weeks ago. Because
it's like Puljujarvi. It's like, well, how is the Connor Brown for Puljujarvi deal not happening?
Oh my god! But
apparently he doesn't want to stay in Canada. He wants to go to the States.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so Puljujarvi's out. Who's next? Right? Move down the list and get some shit done. Because I'm losing it over here. Mitch Marner does not have as much to do with the Leafs defense being shitty as you think.
And don't give Mitch Marner and his agent that much power.
Right.
To hold up the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
You're going to let one restricted free agent, one 22-year-old and his agent, hold up a 102-year-old storied franchise. Most of that story is tragic.
Yes. Yes, it is extraordinarily tragic.
Are we really going to do that?
They were trying to move Garrett Sparks. Whatever happened to that? Remember that? Leafs are shopping. Whatever happened to that?
They need to sign Marner before they can move Garrett
you know who's a free agent that's interesting? And Colorado Avalanche fans are like, yeah, go ahead with this one. Semyon Varlamov.
Well, he's not coming to Toronto. But
no?
You think somewhere else?
Well, I think he's an interesting goaltending free agent. I mean, he's 20 and 19 last year. But
he's way past his best.
I know, but is he not a 20 or 30 game guy?
Yeah, but you gotta the Leafs. I mean, it's well documented that it was a mistake to get rid of Curtis McElhinney.
Oh, he's a free agent.
They need a guy. They need a guy to make.
Isn't McElhinney
It was the right move at the time.
It was the right move.
It was the right move logically. We've done that.
Yeah, we've done this.
But they're some of the suggestions I've seen for Leafs backup are guys who are going to end up making between $2 and $3 million, and I don't think they can afford that. And I would rather go through another season with Garrett Sparks as the backup.
At least he's got something to prove.
Well, at least he's got something to prove, but I would rather go through another season with Garrett Sparks as the backup if it means they make an improvement to the defense. It sucks. It sucks. Go fix it.
Yeah, Garrett Sparks will lose less games if they improve defense.
Yes! Yes!
He will let in less bad goals.
Yes!
What if we took away his glove and he only had to make barehanded saves?
What if
he had to fight a bear? What if he had to fight a bear to get to the net?
No,
Garrett, you can't get into the net until you fight this bear.
You got it barehanded. You see?
Yeah.
Barehanded. No, we got to put all his equipment in the back window of a car so that it shrinks to the size that it ought to be. So sick of him flying around and his blocker is facing the wrong way. Get some shit that fits.
Is it?
I'm so sick. Doesn't it look like he plays with equipment that doesn't fit?
He looks like a little kid playing in his dad's goalie equipment.
Sometimes, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost like
you're not wrong.
He's like a bellhop with his white gloves, trying to catch pucks with these nice gloves, but with his fingers, not.
You would no. I can't remember if you were able to come. Remember, it was Game 5 against Utica, 2 years ago when they won the whole championship. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he made that save.
That's what I was referencing.
Yeah.
When I said he could only have to make... Yeah, that's the moment I was referencing.
Sorry, I'm trying to make leaf traits in my head as I'm talking.
That's why I said he only could make barehanded saves. Because he made that save barehanded.
I thought two things in that moment. The first was, wow! It's always great when you go to a sporting event and something makes you say, wow. Number two, That shit is not cute.
No.
And then last year, boy, was it ugly. Listen, I'll go through another year. I am willing to put money down. Watch me do this, guys.
Oh.
Willing to put money down.
Steve is not willing to put money down on many things. So this is a big pronouncement.
And this money he's putting down is like $1.
Yeah.
I'm willing to
The
put
dollar that he saved by negotiating his car.
4 quarters.
If Kyle Dubas was negotiating for that car, it wouldn't have been signed until 6 months from now.
Right.
I would have just had to ride a bike. That's how it would have gone.
Imagine how many times he would have been on time for the podcast with the bike. Though. You see?
Just with this, like quads the size of
You'd have Marty St. Louis quads.
Yeah.
Your legs would look like chicken wings, reversed.
this speaker right here. It would just be unbelievable. Garrett Sparks will have a better season this upcoming one than he did last.
Yes.
You think
Not
so? Yeah.
a high bar to have to climb over. Yada, yada, yada. If you're being held up because the market's held up, I understand. If you're being held up by Mitch Marner, that's a mistake. That is a mistake. And if, you put yourself in a position where you get a guy and your defense is improved, but all of a sudden it makes it a tighter squeeze, you take that with you into negotiations. And if Marner doesn't blink and he's got to go somewhere else, I don't know. Pearson's not that far. That's life, man. Like this is what I've been saying for a while now. I just want to know. I love hockey. I love watching the games. The team I cheer for is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who plays for them? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. That's all I'm interested in. That's all I care about. Oh, so and so left. Well, he doesn't play for the Toronto Maple Leafs anymore. Let me know who plays for the Leafs and I'll cheer for him. Okay? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this waiting around bullshit.
I'm with you.
I'm so sick. Well, again, I just announced the fucking Colin Miller trade already. If he goes somewhere else, at this point, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm going to be pissed.
Unless they get something better.
Unless they get something better, for sure. But, like, to me, I'm like, they need a number one right-handed shot, and he's not it.
Okay.
But they're also going to need a number 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Go get any one of them. Who are the options?
You re-sign Jake?
It's not happening. So what's the next one? We're not. Leafs can't give him $7 million.
Which way do you shoot?
I shoot right.
Oh, all right.
And I just scored a goal.
Yeah. You got options.
Along the left half wall. I don't even know how I got there. I was supposed to be playing right D.
Sounds like you in NHL.
It does. It really does.
I'm just going to do my Steve thing.
And it worked! And it worked! It's just like in the video games. I get back to the bench and I go, well, it worked! Whatever. Hainsey? No good. No bueno. Zaitsev? No good. No bueno. Igor Ozhiganov? Are you joking? Roman Polak?
No.
Starting to look pretty good.
Connor Carrick would be nice.
Connor, holy shit, there's one.
Yeah, and that like
Justin Hall, please, for the love of God, don't make me. No! No!
And we missed out on Carl Gunnarsson.
We did, yeah.
Right hand? Is he right-handed shot?
No, he's left.
Is he left? Right-handed shot stud Carl Gunnarsson. I think even Blues fans are like, yeah, it's great we won the cup with him, but you sure about that?
And when you sign guys, make sure you're signing hockey players. Because they turned Justin Hall into a hockey practicer.
Yeah.
And it hurt him as a hockey player.
Well, here's the thing now.
Stop. The Leafs need to stop making players into hockey practicers. Do you know how much of a testament it is to Josh Levo's ability as a hockey player that he was able to survive and thrive after his tenure under Mike Babcock?
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about go get him back. Man, if Josh Levo comes back, he truly is the hero that the Leafs do not deserve. Like he's the biggest Leaf fan of all time if he comes back.
It's got to be worse than. It's got to be worse than playing in the AHL, right? Because at least you're playing games.
You're playing.
Yes!
Yeah, if you're just on fucking scratched every night, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, you do get your full NHL salary, which I'm sure is pretty dope. But Josh Levo's made some money now, and he wants to play some freaking games.
Yeah.
Justin Hall's a bit of a different case. Played in the AHL till he was 26, and then I don't know if you could say he played in the NHL, but he sure practiced here.
When he did play, there were games where I was like, ooh. But he played a couple games in a row, I think towards the end of the season, and there were you started to see it come around, right?
Anyone will give you that. Anyone will give you that.
But and control his own
spinning
exits.
behind the back pass to Freddie Gauthier for a goal from his knees. Anyone can give you that. 82 games plus 25-30.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Well, obviously not 30. Something in between 22 and 28.
Mm-hmm. Whatever
Man,
it was going to cost the Leafs to get Pietrangelo last year, they should have just paid the price.
Holy shit.
Should have just paid it.
Colton Parrick. Anybody. I'm getting antsy here, and it has nothing to do with Marner.
Saw the idea floated that it might make sense to trade. This is crazy.
They'll survive without Mitch Marner. The defense has got me shook.
Yeah. Well, and then let's have the conversation quickly about why wouldn't you just trade Mitch Marner? Other than the pronouncement that Kyle Dubas made, the two pronouncements have painted him into a corner. First, that he promised William Nylander he wasn't going to trade him. Second, that he said we will re-sign these guys. But if Kyle Dubas goes out and makes a killer trade, Mitch Marner for great defensemen or a couple great pieces that the Leafs need, and they figure out their defense from here, does anybody complain?
Yeah,
at first. But
It's
you
one
look
of
at the DeMar DeRozan trade. People complained about that.
We complained about Kawhi until he got on the court and we said, holy shit, we've never seen a player this good in this city. You know what I mean? So, people keep going, just give me the 4 first-round picks. I'm convinced if you trade him, you get a better package than that. A more useful package than that as well.
Right, right off the bat, useful.
Because people are talking about, with cap space and picks and... What player of impact are you going to get for a first-round pick that's supposed to be in the 20s?
Yeah, you couldn't even get Jake Muzzin for that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. Muzzin cost that plus a good right-handed defensive prospect and a decent AHL winger prospect.
Yeah.
So the Leafs have some work to do, and it certainly doesn't start or end with Mitch Marner.
Gary Bettman says basketball could never surpass hockey in Canada in terms of popularity.
Gary Bettman continues to be Employee of the Month at the NHL. Gary Bettman is wrong. Gary Bettman sounds a little bit scared. Gary Bettman should be. I said this before the show. Gary Bettman should be doing everything in his power to try to convince Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment not to re-sign Kawhi Leonard. If the Raptors re-sign that player, to me it's a bigger FU to the North American sports landscape than the Raptors winning. Or the Raptors winning and then re-signing him. Never speak again.
Well,
literally shut your mouth for the rest of your life.
We were talking about...
We won. He stayed. You lose. Every shit talker on every American sports show, you lose. And you lost forever. Lou Williams. I was reminded who that is this week.
6th man of the year.
6.
Adorable.
6 man like I'm Lou.
But
that's very good.
It was funny. It was funny to hear Lou Williams say that after he was upset a couple years ago that the Raptors didn't reach out and try to re-sign him. Remember that? Yeah. It was like, okay, you wanted to stay here, man.
Yeah.
So if the Raptors get him back and they win another championship...
We don't have to win another championship.
They don't even have to.
They might not even have to.
No.
Just keep them.
We're good.
It reminds me of the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises. And Bane goes, the fire rises. You're not stopping this fire.
There are so many little kids who just grew up with an NBA championship. It's fantastic for basketball in the city, especially, and across Canada. And I think there's a real shot at basketball becoming the number one sport. Who knows?
I have told the story many times, and it's changed, but it is a little bit the same. When I was working at the zoo, I want to say it was 2007, Toronto Zoo. I know it's a very strange place to do this gauge, but trust me, it works. All the NHL gear that kids wore wasn't Leafs. Kids wore Taves, So I guess it wouldn't have been 2007. It would have been like 08 or 09.
After
like
they
that.
win their cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taves, Kane, Crosby, Ovechkin. Getzlaf is a very popular one.
Yeah.
Because they had just won in 2007. I want to say Corey Perry was in there. People didn't wear Leafs. And the kids who did, there's one kid, I can literally picture this kid in my mind. The dad was like patting him on the back, like, yeah, he's a big Leaf fan. And the kid was just like, the parent made him wear that shirt.
Blank jersey.
Yeah, the kid made him wear that shirt.
Yeah,
The
no
Leafs were
name on
ass.
the back.
The Leafs sucked. The Leafs did not stoke cheer. The Leafs did not spark joy in that child, to quote Mary Kondo. Now, you're a kid right now, and you're at the store. And if your parents are anything like mine, they're not going, okay, we're going to get you a Leafs jersey and a Raptors jersey. It's maybe the end of the school year, and you're rewarded because you weren't that much of a little shit
And it's
to
on
your
sale.
teacher. And it's on sale.
And you
I
get
didn't get it full price.
you get
though.
you're
one.
getting a Valanciunas jersey.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Like,
yeah,
for
whoever
sure.
was traded, that's who you're getting.
Yeah. Oh, look. Do you
DeLon
like DeLon
Wright.
Wright? Do you like the DeLon? You want
There might be a couple of Terrence Ross ones
CJ
still in the
Miles.
business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So my parents would go,
Grievous
all right.
Vasquez from a couple years ago.
So my parents would go, all right, you want Terrence Ross? You want Terrence Ross? Or do you want Matt Hunwick? I got to go with Terrence Ross.
Yeah.
Because
And I
I'm not
don't-
getting
yeah.
both.
So
I don't blame you.
here's the
I'm going with Terrence Ross.
here's the
They
quote.
won a championship.
Here's
Leafs
the-
didn't do shit.
Here's the quote from Masai Ujiri that led to the Get Bettman quote to put this in a little more context. Shanny is my boy, and so is Kyle Dubas. This is Masai Ujiri talking. But I really do think that basketball could replace hockey as the top sport in Canada.
Yep.
The way
One day.
basketball is growing around the world, I do think we're lucky that in a place like Canada, there's room for baseball, there's room for basketball, there's room for hockey, and there's room for soccer. Now, Rob Pizzo, who you've worked with on Saturday night, asked on the Hockey Night in Canada podcast, actually, Gary Bettman about that. Now, Gary Bettman starts this quote with the thing that Gary Bettman says every single time someone says something controversial that Gary Bettman doesn't agree with. And the reason Gary Bettman starts like this is he doesn't want you to think that he's attacking anyone because he's a lawyer. He's smart. I didn't hear Masai
Brilliant man.
I didn't hear Masai say that. Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
I didn't hear Masai say that. I'd be surprised, that is, he'd be surprised if basketball took over as the more popular sport. We have 7 franchises in Canada. It's great for the Raptors that after 24 years they had a great run, and they should be congratulated for that. But the NBA in Canada has had mixed results. It didn't work out so well in Vancouver. I think time will tell. But I think when people think about the heart and soul of Canada, they think about hockey. Now, couple things I want you to pull out of this before Steve blows up, okay?
Also,
First
I have
thing is...
3 things for that as well.
Okay.
I think Jesse's going to blow up first.
First things first. Okay, we'll go to Jesse first.
Yeah.
First things, I just want to say that the Vancouver situation was bad owners, right?
Yep.
That was just
No.
bad, shitty ownership that never wanted the team there anyway. So we'll just get that off the table.
And you want to talk about that whole, oh, please God, no, don't make me play in Canada thing. Didn't
That-
just plague the Raptors.
Oh, it was
They
like,
picked first overall, and the guy almost cried.
Yeah. Yeah. And the second one that I would say to you is that is how Gary Bettman takes, in my opinion, the NHL in Canada for granted.
Oh, yeah.
He knows we will always be there. We will always show up.
That fat TV rights deal that was signed a few years ago. The
still-
money
it's
doesn't
still going.
change, does it?
12 years, baby. And the thing with that is Gary Bettman, because of that, does very little to grow the game here, relatively speaking. They're trying to grow it in the States. And it's funny to hear Gary say the NBA had mixed results in Canada. Because I would say through the first 5 years of the NHL's expansion into the southern United States, we're talking about the 92-93 expansion.
Oh, they had a rough first 30, 40 years.
San Jose, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles when it started in the late 70s, early 80s. These teams, nobody went. Nobody cared. But you look at thriving markets. You look at Tampa Bay. You look at Dallas. Dallas when it had good ownership. When Dallas had bad ownership, you started to hear rumors, maybe the Stars won't be there forever. Remember that? That was not that long ago. San Jose, I mentioned, Anaheim, Los Angeles. You look at Carolina. As soon as they got a great owner, look at that. They go on a run.
Or a crazy owner, which is sometimes the same.
People show up.
Yep.
And that's the point I want to make here, is that Gary Bettman is at a point now where...
And what do we do?
Hold on. Gary Bettman is at a point now where he knows that and doesn't believe that Canadians are going anywhere. The problem for Gary Bettman is not our generation. The problem is Generation Z. The millennials are already 24 years old at the youngest. Generation Z is the one that the NHL ought to be freaked out about. And they ought to look at the way baseball looked at things when millennials were coming up, and they're like, millennials don't care about baseball. And baseball said, that's fine, we don't care about them either. And baseball, the average age of a person who watches baseball is now 55. So the NHL is going to age itself out. Jesse.
That was one of my main points I was just about to get to. No, thank you. Baseball at one point was the number one sport in America.
What, in our lifetime?
In our lifetime, yeah. This wasn't that long ago.
Untouchable.
Now it's the number 3 sport after the NFL and the NBA in America.
Oh, well. And it's fucking boring.
It sucks.
And it's trending downwards. And if you're Gary Bettman, like hockey's so entrenched in Canada. Like there are entire cities that come together just on hockey. We have a program on CBC based entirely on that idea of hockey being Canada. Hometown hockey.
Hockey thrives where there's nothing else to do, for sure.
But things change.
So does basketball.
It's true. But things change, and I think Gary Bettman needs to watch out. And if he's saying Vancouver is a reason that the NBA failed in Canada,
he knows that it's not.
Vancouver left the NBA 18 years ago.
Also, Winnipeg and Quebec failed hockey in Canada.
Yeah?
What the hell kind are you? 2 of your franchises failed.
Oh, well, this factor and that factor. Well,
that shit. Same shit, Gary.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I think too. Listen, there are going to be people in the West and in the East in Canada who go, you guys are coming at this from really Toronto-centric. We're happy for you. But remember, we don't have an NBA franchise. And I remember tweeting at the beginning of this, I said, at the beginning of this Raptors run, and saying, if there's one thing I hope this Raptors run does, is that it encourages more franchises in this country. They are very expensive. And I think only probably 3 cities could support them. To be quite frank, you got to have about 3 or 4 million people.
Canada's not big.
It's not big,
and that's fine.
It's less than the population of California, the entirety of Canada.
Yeah, I think you need Vancouver, Montreal are the only 2 that I can see really supporting.
Yeah, and there's growing markets, but when we say growing markets, we're talking about a place like Halifax, and we're talking about a conversation like they might get a CFL team.
Yes.
And they can barely support that.
But that's the realities of a country that's 10 times less.
Halifax is our Atlanta. It's the new big place that's growing.
I don't think that's a good comparison.
I don't think that's a good comparison.
No?
No.
Strip clubs? No, I'm kidding.
No. One strip club. Ralph's, by the way.
One strip club.
Migos
did not go.
They got Migos out in Halifax.
No, Migos in Scarborough.
Oh,
Migos the
no,
band.
he was saying
they said Amigos. I thought the bar that he always talks about.
Talking about the rap group, Adam.
Hey, we had LMFAO at one of our station events when I was out there.
Wow.
Yeah, when they only had I'm in Miami, bitch.
Because they were the Slash of hip hop.
That's
they
right.
Just showed up to everything.
When you look at this, like the Vancouver thing, and I tweeted that. People tweeted me that example, and I said, that's not a good example. Why are you tweeting that at me?
Yeah.
You know that's a terrible example, and the economic situation is completely different. And I think basketball in Vancouver would work today. Because if the BC Lions are one of the most well-attended sports, if the Vancouver Whitecaps have done as well as they've done, Vancouver loves sports, and they love teams that win. And I think Vancouver is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. You want to tell me that, maybe we weren't very good at marketing Canada in the 90s. Show me Toronto in the winter, and I'll show you a big middle finger from somebody who grew up in the South. F that. Why would I ever want to be there? And then you're here, and you're like, oh, it's great, and it's a fun place. There's lots to do.
Toronto summer rules.
Toronto summer rules, but these guys are going to be here in the summer. Remember that.
Yeah.
Vancouver doesn't have a
all
winter.
Year round. Yeah.
Not really.
Not really.
And you can't forget, no team in Seattle. All those basketball fans who are currently in Seattle without a team, they're coming up to Vancouver if it's there.
And the weather in Seattle's the same. If it's the weather. And the economics are similar. And then you got the rivalry of a Seattle-Vancouver team that you could eventually have.
How's anyone going to get to the games? Sorry. I just wanted
no Uber.
I just wanted to be a jerk.
No Uber, that's true.
I just wanted to be a jerk.
I think that the point here is that Gary Bettman knows exactly. Gary Bettman knows that the majority of people will go, yeah, you're right, it didn't work in Vancouver, could never work, right?
No.
Gary Bettman also knows the realities of that economic situation, which is that is total and utter bullshit of an answer. And he should be scared, and he is.
Also,
but he can't say it.
The idea that anybody in any industry doesn't have any type of threat towards them.
It's ridiculous.
It's absurd. Imagine running a company and be like, we're always going to be on top. Nothing is ever going to change. We're number one always because the people will support. That's a ridiculous mindset to have for running any company.
Yes.
No matter what industry.
Us three right now after the show, we want to go play a game of horse or whatever. What do we need?
A basketball.
Done.
Yep.
A basketball and a rim that hasn't been taken down.
Show me a gym. Show me a gym in Canada, a high school gym, a middle school gym, a junior school gym that doesn't have 2 basketball hoops.
Even like
at least 2.
LA Fitness, Good Life, like all the
Show
big,
me one.
all the big chains of gyms.
But when you want to play hockey, you got to pull out all the plastic sticks. You got to pull out the ball. You got to pull out the net.
You got to get ice. And it's got to be at midnight.
Even if it's road hockey.
Oh,
even if you're playing that in gym, you got to have 20 sticks.
There's a reason soccer is the biggest sport in the world. It requires a ball, and that's it.
Net.
You don't even need nets.
No, you just need
kids
kick
all
it
around the
between
world
sticks.
make their nets. It doesn't matter. You just need the ball.
You never had that imaginary argument in elementary school where you're like, the post is there.
A million times.
Look, there's the rock. There's the other rock.
Lunch bags. We just used our lunch bags.
Lunch bags all the time.
Yes.
Growing up, yes.
That's why lunch bags were just destroyed by the end of the year because it would just be like people step on them and the ball goes over them and it's icy outside.
My winter jacket was always torn to shit because I was always the goalie.
Yeah.
In kickball.
Oh, okay.
See, foot hockey. I think we call it.
Kickball. That's literally what soccer is: kicking a ball.
Yep.
And basketball is dribbling one.
The barrier to entry for basketball is so much easier than it is for hockey. So
does hockey want to be golf?
So
hockey's not even close to golf economically, by the way. But does hockey want to be a niche rich man sport?
Yes.
Or does hockey want to be the everyman sport that it used to be? Because hockey used to be the everyman working class sport.
There's a book I started reading on the way to Vancouver, and it's not out yet. I got the advanced copy. It's by Sean Fitzgerald, and what I've read so far is so good, and I can't wait to read the rest of it. It's called Before the Lights Go Out, A Season Inside a Game Worth Saving. And it's about hockey. I don't know if you could tell from the title. And, I mean, you know, so I posted that video of me scoring a goal. And most people were like, hey, because, I don't know, it was surprising, frankly. But I still had a few people go, how did you grow up in Canada and never play?
And what was the reason?
Well, my reasons, forget it. There were a wide variety of reasons, but it's a question.
What's the key reason?
Time and money.
Bingo. and specifically, let's be straight here.
Yeah.
Your parents had a lot of financial commitments with Rachel.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the money.
I think even if Rachel had been born completely healthy, it still
would
would
have
have
been
been a
time and
huge
money.
challenge. My dad worked nights and shit. It was hard.
Yeah. You would have had to basically get a lift every game.
Yeah. I have friends in their 30s who have good jobs and have no prospect of owning a house. How are they going to put a kid in hockey equipment? Fuck that. They'll put them in something else. Because the kid, how hard is it to get a kid excited about something other than hockey? You put on a Raptors game, you show them a couple Kawhi clips, and you go, isn't that great? And the kid goes, yeah, because they're a kid, and they go with whatever you say. And you go, great, and you put a ball in their hand, and they love that for the rest of their life, and that's what they play. You got to work to get a kid into hockey. But anyway, sorry, what I was getting to there, how did you grow up in Canada and not play is becoming an outdated question. No one plays. That's the problem. That's the lights going out part. No one plays anymore. Registration is either stagnant or dropping. Everywhere.
Is that really true? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow, I didn't know that.
When I was growing
that.
up, you had to register by a certain date or you didn't get in. Now they
there's too
can't
many
get
people?
enough people in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's why every year it's the sons and nephews of people we grew up watching.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too. When you look at, and we we talk like I sound like an old man. I'm 31 years old. I have a 1-month-old daughter tomorrow. So I am a dad.
Wow, it's still been less than a month.
I know, right? I am a dad. I am in my 30s. As weird as it is to say, because I still feel like I'm 25. I still feel like we just started this podcast yesterday, honestly.
I know. It's crazy.
And if you are in your mid-20s, get ready, baby, because it goes fast. I got to tell you, the hockey stick I played with was $10 to $15, and it was a Mario Lemieux stick. I'll never forget it. It was the Mario Lemieux budget stick, basically, because he had a good stick.
And his stick was $10 to $15.
Yeah, well, he had a pro. There was the pro Mario Lemieux stick. That was $25. My dad's like, you're using that for maximum 40 games. I'm not buying you a $25 stick.
Also, Adam,
That's
you're terrible.
Outrageous. Yeah, also I was bad.
Ken Campbell was chirping you at the draft.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Well, because I suck?
Yeah, he said you suck.
I do suck.
That's funny. It's a good story.
And?
He said he sucks too. So.
Yeah. Well, we all suck.
You guys play in the same league, right?
Yeah, it was
you
funny
and Ken?
going head to head with this team because it was literally the two worst teams in the league. But it was like it was a fight because you're like, this is a game we could actually win. And Ken was always so gracious. But the one stick that everybody wanted was the Jaromir Jagr Silver Easton aluminum stick. This stick
How are those
was
ever
the
allowed?
actual stick. And here's the thing.
How are those ever allowed?
You can make the argument to your parents, well, hey, this is a good investment. Yes, it's $40.
Oh.
But when you break the end of the stick's unbreakable except at the end. You can pull the heel of the stick out and get a new heel in. Right? So this is a stick that could last me several years, and if I use it the right way, I can dull the edges of all the players that I play against, because that used to happen in the NHL too.
Yeah, I can literally shave down the spinal column of...
That's what Jaromir Jagr used to have to go off the ice and get his skates resharpened in between shifts because he'd fall on someone's stick and he'd lose the thing, which doesn't happen with carbon shafts anymore. When I was finishing hockey, there was a stick that I won.
You won.
$200.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber, one of those first carbon fiber things. Sticks, those CCM 3000 tacks that everybody used to want, they were $50. Now you can get skates that are $600.
Oh,
Hockey, and I've talked about this. It was funny. The last time we talked about this, a listener reached out to me and said, we could actually do this, right? And I was suggesting, I want to come out with like a generic hockey brand where we just make equipment. It's all the same, only it's called generic. Or it's called Adam Wild brand or something stupid. And he's like, well, we could start with sticks if you want to. He's like, I could go check with a supplier in China and here's how much it costs. And I was like, well, this seems like a really involved process, and I got a lot going on already.
Yeah.
But if you were a smart business person, and you love hockey, the smart thing for you to do right now is find a way to do that. Sell volume. Sell to the families that can't afford it. This is why, Canadian Tire has this thing right now, which is great. It's Jumpstart, and it gets you into any particular sport, but the most expensive sport to get in is hockey. So what they do is they give you a full thing of equipment. And it's all top of the line. It's good stuff. But it's thousands of dollars per player.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, man.
And the entrance fees are thousands of dollars per player.
You can be anybody and play soccer. You can be anybody and play basketball. You can be upper middle class and still have a really difficult time affording hockey.
I don't think I'm going to be able to do it.
That's insane!
I don't think so.
That's insane!
I'm
Because Adam makes $5 million a year. No, sorry.
I'm going to get... Because I own a house in this city.
Yeah.
That's made up, by the way.
At least I got to
Just
that
making
point.
sure.
I got to that freaking point, and that was really hard. And we are budgeting like crazy to keep it. But and then having a child, and then having childcare.
Eventually, your kid's gonna want to go to school.
Yeah,
You got to plan for that.
yeah. Eventually, my wife's going to want to go back to work. Got to
Sure.
plan for that too. So that means we got to having a child is not even really taking care of the child. It's what do I do with the child when I have something to do without the child? Where do I put this child down, and who do I keep it with? That's literally having a child.
That's why I was laughing at people because I said having a puppy is harder than having a baby. Because no one's going to yell at you in the middle of a grocery store, get that baby out of this store! What are you doing in my store with that baby?
It's true.
You bring in a puppy, they go, what?
Yeah, you can't bring your puppy into Tim Hortons.
No, you
Yeah.
can't.
You
can bring your
Unless
baby.
he's a service dog.
Yes.
Which is pretty easy to get, by the way. You can get service thing for anything. So if you do want to bring your dog with you,
Yeah, but not for a
fairly good
15-pound puppy.
So
it's a service
I put a
puppy.
little
We're training
vest
it.
on it.
Last
This is
fall-
my helper.
last fall, the three of us, we do the Easter Seals tournament.
Yes.
When we raised over, was it $1,500? We were all gifted a stick.
1,000. It was,
It was
yeah.
$1,000. We were all gifted a stick.
Which, by the way, if you donated, I don't know if we said it at the time. I think we did, but also thank you.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Holy
And-
crap, you really helped some people out. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, we put together 2 teams, raised over 55 grand, and I'm just letting you know, I'm going to start even earlier this year, and we're going to smash 55 grand.
and we're going to win a game.
We're
And we're going to win a game, and I'm going to score a damn goal. So is Jesse and Adam's going to have to eat that sandwich.
We're gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The Don Jerry sandwich bet's still on. Oh, I'm scoring. I am not passing the.
You guys
fucking
are gonna
rush.
Jesse, you stand in front, I'm going to put one off your ass.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be great.
So we were all gifted a stick. It was Super Tack.
Yeah, Super Tack. One of the
yeah.
ones you just...
That
yeah.
stick retails for like $320.
Yep.
That's insane.
It is insane.
And that's just a regular hockey stick.
You know what I might do with that stick next year? Auction it off and give the money back to Easter Seals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I use it like it's...
It's a great stick.
I use
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but like hopefully
Yeah,
my
if we get
stick
another
survives.
one,
And yeah.
just
Yeah,
give that
we're
away.
gonna do
Give
a
it
lot
on the
more
podcast
auctions
or
this year.
something.
Yeah, we'll do some stuff. I was thinking about like we could do some experiences too, like with the show. Like I don't know what we
Foot
could do.
massages.
Foot. No,
We're gonna massage
I am
your
not
feet.
touching your foot. Sorry.
Steve will.
No, I'm saying we auction off Adam massages their feet.
No, you
Well,
will
you and I
massage.
watch.
Yeah.
You will
Okay,
massage.
fine, I'll
Anyway,
do it.
that
Adam will watch.
I
But
think
Adam's got those dancing fingers because he uses the board all day.
the point is with all of this that our game that we love has priced itself out of the market
No, it's
or is
you're
on
getting
its
into-
way.
You're getting into specifics. Hockey is alienating people.
Yes. And
In so many
the
more ways
leadership
than one.
of the most important league doesn't seem to think that.
Yeah. Now, you're right.
It's so ridiculous.
Now maybe we're taking Bettman's words a little bit too seriously. After all, he's the commissioner of the NHL. What
What's he
should
gonna
he be
say?
saying?
Right.
Well, of course basketball is going to
Maybe-
overtake hockey.
Maybe he should have said challenge accepted. You know, he's like, I see him
that's a
coming,
great
and
approach.
I'm not gonna let you defeat me, basketball.
That's
maybe,
a great approach.
Maybe he should have said something better than
Yeah.
What is basketball, anyways?
Dismissing.
You know,
That's
I-
so.
yeah,
I
that's
think so good.
He goes
can
on the
take-
offensive and talks about the one failure in Canada
right?
instead of saying,
Screw that.
yeah.
That's
Well,
so good, Jesse. Shit, he
and he
nailed
said,
it.
you know, he also could have
man.
said, you know what? NBA's done an amazing job of growing their game in the last 10 years. There's lots we can learn from them, but we feel like we got some tricks up our sleeve too, and we're so excited for this next season for you. And
Well,
I'd be like, great, you have me.
Right.
What do you
But he
got?
can't say. But he can't say. Wait and see what happens next.
'Cause he
Because
got
what
nothing.
happens next is a lockout in a year, literally a year. Seattle, welcome to the NHL, and clunk. That was the sound of a gate closing. Clunk. Lockout.
Man, Jesse,
Again!
inspirational speaker. Next commissioner of the NHL, Jesse Blake.
He ought to be.
We can't change. We can't call him no man. At
It's
that
not
point. He's
even
yes
that
man.
hard of a sell. Look how tall he is. You know, every team would love it. Look at it. You know what I love about our commissioner? I had to look up at him.
Paul Fenton.
Paul
would-
Fenton
would
is
freak
on
out.
the Jesse Blake for commissioner trade.
Hi,
Also, I
I'm
think
Paul
I'm-
Fenton, and I approve this message.
I'm gonna go stick and puck on Sunday.
Do it. Are you actually?
Yeah, I'm gonna go skating around.
There you go.
Hit up a rink in Mississauga. Go visit
fun.
my dad's house or something.
It's fun. Bring your socks. I forgot mine.
yours, yeah.
Yesterday I was pissed. Jesse Blake, commissioner. He's 6'4" every time he steps up to the negotiating table or whatever it is. You're taller than 6'4", right?
I'm around 6'4".
You're around 6'4".
Yeah.
It's cool. So am I.
Are you?
I mean, I'm around 6'4". Around.
What's next, Adam?
What's next? See? He's delegating already. God, he's good.
He's a born leader, natural born leader. The next thing is Port Perry,
Right.
Old Flame
fun.
Brewery.
Getting an NHL franchise.
for Port Perry. Next Thursday night, 7:00. We are a go
Oh,
for this event, I believe.
Is there an Eventbrite yet?
No, and
Okay.
that I was waiting for you to create.
I did not know that.
Oh, okay.
So how about I do that?
Steve, do you mind creating that Eventbrite? We'll do that right here on the show. Sorry. Honestly, as I've said, we've Jesse and I especially have been in the weeds with our other job lately in the best way. But sometimes things bottleneck on you, and you're trying to do a million things at once. So we are.
I haven't been doing anything.
So I know you've been busy, forgetting stuff, stick and puck, and all that.
Fuck! I was so mad. But I'm still mad.
But essentially, we need we'll put up the Eventbrite. It will come through Steve's account. Steve, do you want to give people a time and a place before you put it out? So, as in, give them a forewarning, because there's an 80-person max here, and there are going to be people that are disappointed. And
okay,
I just don't.
Let's say. What is reasonable? Let's say
Just no,
6 o'clock.
Sure, you can say it now, but also tweet this out after.
No, I'm going to. But
okay.
But like, I just don't want anyone missing out on it.
Okay.
So, how about 6 o'clock p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern, Friday night. That is tomorrow night, June 28th. I'll post a link on my Twitter to the Eventbrite, and that's that. The live event is July 4th in Port Perry at Old Flame Brewery.
Yep.
They have beer.
Yes.
And if you can't make it, or if you're like iffy on making it, please don't reserve a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, only reserve it if you can go, because there's only 80.
And by the way,
leave it for somebody who's 100% confirmed.
This goes for people that are unsure and people that maybe miss it. There will be more.
Yeah.
This is not the end. It's merely the beginning.
How much does it cost? This many?
Costs $0.
It costs $0. Costs that many dollars.
That's right. Just come in, have a good time, and we can't wait to meet you and hang out. And there will be more this summer. I promise. Promise. Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. STP. The Steve
Jesse
Dangle
is
Press Conference.
Jesse's eating food with his mouth hole. But that's what you get to do when you're a commissioner like him.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
His food stays warm because he eats it so high in the air. It's one of the great things about having a 6'4"
This is from
heat rises, but actually with Jesse's height it falls because he's so tall.
What? Oh, he's probably really good in high altitude situations because that's where he lives his life.
Should I only do things in Colorado?
Yeah.
This is from Just Made This for Podcast. It says, Steve, Brendan Leipzig is set to be a UFA. I know you were very upset he got taken during the expansion draft. Do you think we could have him again?
Sorry,
yes. Oh, yeah.
Who?
Brendan Leipzig.
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be a great signing.
Yeah, it's a really interesting signing. I think there's a couple guys who have an argument where you can get the band back together. And I'm not even going to say James Reimer. Whoops, too late. Josh Levo is a really interesting option if he was into that. I doubt he is. But Brendan Leipzig is sort of looking to revive his NHL career and looking to revive. He still really needs to establish himself as an every single day NHL player.
Well, this would be his last chance, though.
It would be his last chance. He'd be probably lucky to get a third line role, but I think he plays a style that Babcock would probably like. He's a playmaker by nature, and I feel like he could have a role on the second power play unit. Because I remember he was really good at that with the Marlies. It's been a few years, obviously, so things have probably changed. Yeah, I could see him being a cheap option. Pick up the phone.
One thing that happened this week was Roberto Luongo retired.
Yes.
Clap for his career.
Yeah, seriously. What a great
Amazing career.
Second most ever games played, third most ever wins.
Is he the best goalie? This is for Adam and Steve. Is he the best goalie to ever not win a cup? Cujo, Dave 3106 provides some examples. He says Cujo, Hextall, Luongo, Kiprasov, guys that are he thinks of off the top of his head. What do you guys think?
Lundqvist.
Best goalie ever, never win?
To be added.
Lundqvist, yeah.
Curtis. Doesn't Curtis Joseph lead? Isn't he the all-time losses leader?
I don't know.
Or that might be Broder. Well, because the best goalies of all time,
Right.
like they won and lost the most games.
That was like
'cause they
Lenny
played the
Wilkins
most.
too. Lenny Wilkins, the
Right,
Raptors
All-time
coach.
losingest coach.
Yeah.
But all-time
And
winningest
winningest
coach.
too.
Yeah.
And you just played a shitload of games.
Yeah, he just was there a lot.
just hang it out.
I'm gonna say yes, because yesterday I got mad about Roberto Luongo. He played, I think it was 19 seasons, might have been 20. Let's say 19 seasons. So
That's so rare. You got mad about
God.
something.
I know it's very odd. He played 8 seasons with the Canucks. He had one split season, so he had 8 seasons with the Canucks, 1 season with the Islanders, and I guess that would have left 10 with the Panthers. No, it was part of 11 because he had the one split season. So he played parts of 11 with Florida, parts of 8 with Vancouver, and 1 with the Islanders. How many times did he make the playoffs with Vancouver in 8 years? 8 seasons. Anyone? 6.
Okay.
That's very good.
I was going to say a number much lower than that.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. Making the playoffs 75% of the time?
No,
That's
it's not
great. Yeah.
Very good. In 11 seasons with Florida, how many times did he make the playoffs? How many?
Twice.
bad. Not many. 4. I'm going to say 4 times.
I would say 2.
He made the playoffs half as often as Jesse thinks and a quarter as often as Adam
What?
thinks. He made the playoffs as a Florida
way.
Panther once
Wow.
in 11 seasons. He
That's
played
crazy.
6 games. 6 playoff games as a member of the Florida Panthers. That organization abandoned him. I don't think a goalie has ever been so alone on an NHL
And he
franchise.
constantly played he constantly faced the most shots too.
There was
Yeah, and played the most games.
Yeah.
I was going through his there was a season where he played 72 games. Like insane. Get anyone to score a freaking goal in front of this guy.
Well, you know what also would piss you off is that he was a Leafs draft pick. No, is that Niedermeyer? Niedermeyer was.
No. Both of them, they were the same, but not in the way that you think.
Okay.
In 1990, I want to say it was, or 91, the Leafs had traded their first round pick over a year ahead of time. So it bit them when they sent their pick to the Devils, to Lou Lamoriello and the Devils, and it gave them the 3rd overall pick, Scott Niedermeyer. Fast forward a half decade later, they had not learned a lesson. The Leafs acquire Wendell Clark. They reacquired Wendell Clark.
From the Islanders.
DJ Smith
Oh.
and Matthew Schneider, who was actually he was quite good. The Leafs gave up
Kenny Johnson,
Kenny Johnson
who was a great defenseman, turned out to be their captain.
ended up being their captain. Yeah, Drake Barahowski, Sean Haggerty, I think was the guy's name, and their 1997 first round pick. Fast forward, they suck. The pick is 4th overall. The Islanders use it to select Roberto Luongo. Roberto Luongo plays 1 season with the Islanders, the 99-2000 season, and he wasn't all that good, and the Islanders weren't all that good. But, I mean, he's a young goalie. What did you expect out of him? And as a result of that season, the Islanders had the 1st overall pick, which they used to select Rick DiPietro. So now all of a sudden they got a new goalie of the future, so they trade Luongo to the Panthers. The trade was heading to Long Island. Mark Parrish,
Oh no.
who had a good career, but
He had 150 goal a year, 140 goal a year or something.
he had a good career. Steady producing forward. Mark Parrish and Oleg Kavasha, remember him?
I do remember him. Yeah.
In exchange for Roberto Luongo and Ole Jokinen.
Wow. Wow.
That is
That's-
a shit heap of a trade.
Those are the Mike Milbury years.
Hell
are they
yeah,
not?
it was.
Man, if Mike Milbury had been a potato, the Islanders would have been they would have been a threat to make the finals.
Luongo's
Like you
first
think
game.
about that Chara,
Oh,
Spezza,
oh,
Luongo.
oh.
Who else did they have?
Jokinen?
There were some great players on that team. Kenny Johnson, great defenseman. People don't give him credit.
There was they wouldn't have had Janssen without yada yada yada.
Yeah.
There was a great tweet I saw. I think it was in Luongo's first game, Luongo's first game was a win against the Boston Bruins, and the game-winning goal was scored by Zdeno Chara.
Wow.
Chara with the Islanders.
It still blows my mind that two teams gave Chara up for relatively nothing. Like,
Well, Sens literally.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because the Islanders got Yashin for him, but then the Senators were like, Wade Redden, Zdeno Chara. We're gonna go Wade Redden on this one.
Did you see the
that's what they had?
You see the Friedman story about Wade Redden?
No.
So it was a few summers ago, like a decade ago, and Brooks Orpik, now that he's retired, gave Friedman permission to tell this story. So the Rangers were gearing up to have a very big summer, and they were going to give a lot of money to Brooks Orpik and Wade Redden. Brooks Orpik thought they were going to give a bunch of money to Wade Redden or him. So when he saw the Rangers signed Wade Redden, he said, all right, screw it. I guess I'll just re-sign with the Penguins. So he called up Glenn Sather to tell him that. And then Sather called back and was like, what the I was going to sign both of you.
Wow. That's funny.
And Orpik, I'm sure, regrets it deeply. He won a cup.
Yeah.
Anyway, Luongo, listen, Florida Panthers fans, I know that conversation was probably a tough one to swallow. Everyone thinks about Vancouver as the missed opportunity for him.
Yeah.
No, at least he was close. Lots of goalies come close. There is no shame in coming close. It is a very hard league. To not make the playoffs every season but one, with literally one of the best goalies of all time, that's terrible and unforgivable as a hockey fan.
And imagine how many bad trades the Leafs could have avoided had they just kept the pick and picked him.
Oh, they wouldn't have picked him. They would have picked God knows who.
Dumb
Who sucked? They would have picked that
defenseman.
guy. Yeah, who sucked? They would have picked that guy. They would have picked that guy. For sure. For sure. Luongo, there were 246 players picked in 1997, and Luongo is tied for 46th in scoring.
What?
With 23 assists.
Wow.
That's a cool stat.
That is a very cool stat. That's crazy, eh?
Somebody did a video on Luongo.
Yeah. Why do I remember all this?
Did he tweet you back, by the way? Because you tweeted at
No,
him.
he didn't, and I was really hoping he would. I was pissed. I forgot my socks! Luongo didn't tweet me back!
It's been a tough day for you.
Yesterday was garbage!
Did you tell the sock story on the show this episode?
Did I?
No. You mentioned it a couple times.
I got to stick and puck, and I was rushing
Yesterday?
there. Yeah, yesterday. I got to stick and puck, and I was rushing. I was doing errands, and I showed up late. But I was like, you know what? I just want to get some ice time in because I'm learning, and I love being on the ice now. It's funny. I'm talking about hockey dying and alienating people. Meanwhile, I'm learning it and loving every second of it.
But you've always loved hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We all love hockey.
but it was. I also had to put on a bit of a brave face to learn because it's been unfun because I'm so bad. But now that I actually know a couple things, I'm like, this is awesome. And every moment I'm on the bench is agony, and I just want to get back out there. It's so fun.
That's fun.
That's the point. That's what it should be.
Oh, it's
That's
so
how
good.
hockey should make you feel.
And so I was, and I gotta get there to stick a puck, and I realized, oh shit, I'm not wearing any socks, like regular socks. So, but I remember a couple of years ago I interviewed Chris Stewart when the Minnesota Wild came to town, and his claim to fame is he doesn't wear any socks. So I assume he just has these Fred Flintstone calloused feet. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I'm not even going to be out here that long, and if it starts to hurt, I'll stop. So start getting all my stuff out, put on my leg pads, or knee pads. And you can't call them knee pads because they go the whole leg. Anyway,
it's just funny. Leg pads.
leg pads,
It's not
I
a
know.
term.
Well, we do
I
call
know.
them knee pads. But
so I put it on my front calves, and I realized I don't even have hockey socks. And I wore shorts there. So I just, my options are get on the ice with just shorts like a dick, or have leg pads or whatever with exposed leg at the back. And so I just went, I'm going home. I was so sad. I was so sad and defeated. Maybe I'll go to Mississauga on Sunday.
sometimes you can't. Well,
You should go.
all the way to Mississauga.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, right.
It's only like 4 hours for you.
Yeah. We're talking about renting some ice downtown and doing it after.
I can do
the-
downtown.
Yeah,
I can do
doing it like on Wednesdays or something. That might be fun. Anyway, guys, love you both. Have an enjoyable long weekend and an enjoyable free agent weekend. We will be back with I believe, we'll figure out our show schedule for next week.
I am very excited about the next episode of this show.
Well, so
Imagine we come back. Nobody's made an offer to anyone.
Yeah, our next show
is signed
not
to
even
free
Bernard.
agency.
It's like it's the most NHL thing ever. Free agent frenzy. It's an 8-hour broadcast. Nobody's here. Nobody's doing anything.
Our next show isn't July 4th. It's July 7th.
We're going to talk about
Maybe.
that off
We're
the
gonna
air,
talk
Steve.
about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So remember when I said, hey,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that off the air.
Remember
We'll
we
get
said
back
that
to
30
it.
seconds ago?
Yeah, but like it's
It's not during the long weekend. No.
yeah, but
No.
like
Anyway, we love you. We'll talk to you soon, and we will see you on the floor.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.